morning, we're tracking new developments involving a Georgia student mistakenly arrested during a traffic stop and then detained by immigration authorities. She's now out on bond, but we're learning that the police officer who pulled her over has resigned. Scripps News investigative correspondent Patrick Terpstra is live in our D.C. newsroom. Good morning, Patrick. All right, tell us more about what we're finding out specifically about this officer.
Well, good morning to you, Holly. So we know that his name is Leslie Allen O'Neill, and he is the officer that pulled over Georgia college student Ximena Arias-Cristobal. Now, the letter of resignation that he sent to the police department says this in part, quote, "This decision stems from the department's inadequate response to and defense against public accusations of false arrest, which arose after a charge from a valid arrest was publicly dropped without explanation." And a woman who also appears to be the officer's wife, she also posted this letter and her husband's name on Facebook. They are taking a real look at what has happened here and saying that actually this was not false arrest and that this officer did have reason to pull her over at the time, even though it was not the right vehicle. You'll recall all of this stemming from an illegal right-hand turn by a black truck in Dalton, Georgia a few weeks ago, and that officer there pulling over what he thought was the truck. Instead, it was a very similar vehicle driven by Arias-Cristobal. When he pulled her over and asked for a license, she said she had an international license but did not have it on her, so he arrested her as is required by Georgia law. Once she was arrested, ICE got involved because she had been in the country without papers. She was undocumented after being brought here as a 4-year-old 15 years ago. She was detained for several weeks by ICE until last week when the court said that she could be released on bond pending a future court date. But in the time since then, according to the officer's letter there, he says that he has been receiving a lot of vitriol and defamation, and he says he can no longer serve the community as a result of that. So a new wrinkle on this very viral case. We talked to Dalton, Georgia, a spokesman there, and said, well, what about these claims of false arrest and the fact that now he says he can no longer do his job? They said that they cannot comment on a personal matter other than saying that this was an officer who had been on the force since 2020. Holly.
Scripps News investigative correspondent Patrick Terpstra live for us. Thank you for your extensive reporting. We'll follow up with you on this.